Thursday at Bathurst is done and dusted, and Scott Pye is the first casualty. The big news today is that Supercars will be using fuel churns in the sprint races next year. This has been brought in as a cost-saving measure. Apparently, the fuel towers that they currently use all the time are very expensive to run and set up at the tracks. I mean, you've already got them there. Is the cost... Anyway, they'll have to go and buy these new fuel churns. And for the sprint races next year, they will be using these fuel churns rather than having the big towers. The endurance, the longer races will still have the fuel towers that we've grown to know and love over the years. Obviously the sprint races, you won't need as much fuel in them. It will be more a dump and run kind of thing with a few litres going in, so you'll be able to carry your little tank of fuel out and pump the car with fuel rather than having a big, 70 litre fuel drop or whatever. It'll just be, say, 15 litres going into the car to keep them going for that race. No news yet on them going to old school jacks and getting rid of the onboard jacks on the cars, because with the final series and now this, we seem to really be NASCARizing the whole category. Now, before I get into the track action today, I have one complaint to start off with, other than, well, we had to sit there forever waiting for a session to start, and then the cars hit the track, and once again, and then they show us a track map. There must be something in the TV car. It'll be a sponsorship thing. Anyway, my complaint is, once again, the totem that goes down the side of the screen. There's 26 cars running this weekend, 25 cars on the totem. Why can't we just adjust it a little bit to have all 26 on there? I mean, it's usually pretty easy, especially in the 1,000, to figure out who is running last. But, let's show that Aaron Love's there in last rather than, leaving question marks and having to find who it is. So the kind of on-track action kicked off last night with the Pertec Pit Stop Challenge. My prediction of Brad Jones winning it that didn't age well. So the round one, an easy win for Matt Stone Racing over Blanchard Racing Team. Not the big guns in there, and great to see those guys battling it out. Round two, Triple Eight finally knocked Brad Jones Racing out of. Brad Jones Racing didn't even make the final. That's a surprise, because they've been dominant in this pit stop challenge. Then in the final, it was great to see Triple Eight take on Matt Stone Racing, and it was a close finish. There was only about a foot in it. It's great to see someone else win, because I'm, getting sick of seeing Brad Jones Racing win everything. So, it was great to see Triple Eight take a win, for the little guys. There was some Super 2/Super 3 action on track today. They had 2 practice sessions. In the first session, Cody Bircher got his Altima into the wall at the top of the mountain. Cleaned off the side of him. That was a big incident in that practice. Brad Vaughan led a Tickford 1-2-3 in practice. Very impressive how they came out of the blocks. They weren't so impressive in practice 2 though. The big thing in practice 2 was Mason Kelly. A lot of damage to that Mustang. No wonder he's still cruising around in his dad's old race suit, because they've spent a lot of money fixing that car over the year. Not always Mason's fault, but that was a big hit. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that car for the rest of the weekend, actually. Aaron Cameron ended up fastest with Jared Hughes and Max Vidot, the guys following. Now for the main game, P1, it was a fairly straightforward affair. No one getting themselves into the wall. The big things during the session, Heimgartner, they had a power steering failure, cruising around with a lot of smoke. Even when they fixed it, that car didn't look great on track. Triple Eight, first to get the co-drivers in. It's, from what I saw, typical Triple Eight stuff. The main drivers get in the car. Yep, she's all good. Send the co-drivers out to get a few more laps in. Number 17, they had issues. Randall had power steering issues as well, but they were actually really quick when they were on track, so it didn't seem to slow them down at all. It was a Ford 1-2 with Payne and Waters first and second in the session. Brown was third, Hill fourth, and Randall fifth. A little bit surprising, those guys were right up the top of the session there. Not saying they're bad, but you're not expecting Hill and Randall to kind of, bang it out there in practice one, but it's hard to know what kind of programs everyone was running, because Kostecki was a long way down the field, and you kind of, are they just focusing on race running, or are they actually struggling? But then of course we get into P2, which things changed a little bit. That late start, so we had to sit there waiting for quite a while. One of the Tiranas in the Heritage thing did an oil slick down Conrod Straight, and then of all things Bathurst, no, not a kangaroo, a snake this time, holding up proceedings. I liked over the radio, there's whatever it was, something about wildlife, and you fully expect a kangaroo, but no, this time snake. Warren Luff, I thought he was the first one into the wall. 360 spin at the dipper and somehow didn't hit anything. His daytime job is stunt driver at Dream World or Movie World, something like that. Absolutely amazing. That's one of the best stunts I've ever seen. Holdsworth, the Mobile One Optus Chas Mostert car that was sat in the pits for most of the session. They got out with 17 minutes remaining, which in the end didn't get much of a session in, but they were actually, I think it was 15th at the end of the session. So not terrible once they finally got out, but missed a lot of laps with that engine drama. Lee's a professional, but he's coming off not a great Sandown, so he could have really done with those extra laps. I expect them to put him in the car a bit more tomorrow to get some more laps. 10 minutes to go in the session though, and the big one, Scott Pye did himself a mischief. My opinion of Scott Pye has really changed this year, but this has not helped him in the Bathurst preparations. It looked like a pretty simple mistake heading into the cutting. It's been done many times before by champions of the past. A little bit of a lock-up kind of into the wall. Don't stress everyone though. Scaife said he did a really good job crashing because he neutralised the steering as it went in. So if you're going to crash, make sure you get the thumbs up from Scaife and make sure it's a good job crashing. I'd say they'll be able to fix the car overnight and it'll all be fine and they'll bang it out. And we'll see Will Brown go and be fastest in the first practice session tomorrow because, that's the way the Gen 3 cars are. Fix it overnight. Should be fine. She'll be right, mate. Should be fine, but it's unnecessary work. These are the things where you backtrack on Monday morning when you start debriefing it and you go, well, that's where the issues started, when we lost all that practice time, or instead of preparing the car for the next day, we spent rebuilding it, and it could even flow on to the other cars. But anyway, the session was finally declared, so no one got to have a proper crack at the end, which I think some were about to go out on green tyres to have kind of a bit of a crack to see where they're really at on greens. But anyway, didn't really slow Triple Eight down. Whincup fastest, Cooper Murray in second. They're looking pretty good, that wildcard actually. Ojeda and Hazelwood, so the Erebus boys, were third and fourth. Dave Russell in fifth. They're starting to look like, an actual contender for the race rather than just a smoky. Aaron Cameron in sixth. So he was the one that was going to go out on green tyres and see how he went at the end of the session. I would have loved to have seen that, because I still think they should just, let's see how he goes. Throw him in for qualifying and see where he's at. Because, prove me wrong on tomorrow afternoon, but I expect Love to be kind of slowest out of everyone, so why not throw Aaron Cameron in and see how it goes. Anyway, Thursday, done and dusted. Once again, it's hard to know the program everyone's on. I think showing Hazelwood fourth in the co-driver session shows that Kostecki's pace probably wasn't where they were at. Like, he was probably really focusing on race runs. And I think if we go and look back at last year, I don't think Kostecki was kind of blazing it at the start of the, the weekend. He came on stronger as it went on. So I think this could actually be a 888 versus Erebus fight for the win going off today with, you kind of Mostert and Tickford actually probably look better than the Walkinshaw cars today. So, Waters and Moff and even Randall and Everingham could be a bit more in the fight than those guys. But right now, going off today, I think we're going to see another 888 versus Erebus fight for the win, and it could be between 5 cars actually. Because that wild card is actually looking really good. But anyway, until tomorrow, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.